Hello everyone, and welcome back to Jesse Heck Creative. Today we're going over the X-Men Bonebreaker Build-A-Figure wave from Marvel Legends. Let's get to it. So here's Siren. She is not my favorite of the wave thus far. She is dead last, so let's go look at her. The face is something that really needs to be changed. It should be displaying her power. It should be a screaming face instead of just a neutral head. It's a good neutral head, all things considered, but the hair is windswept and is only usable in certain poses. The body paint is just okay. It's alright applied. The boots are just sort of terrible. You can see the green peeking through them. This cuff is hiding the paint seam, I would guess. The shoes are fine. She's on the new Shriek body, so that's pretty cool, I guess. Pinless tech, pinless joints, but as far as that goes, not really, that great. We've already seen it before. Give us something better, I guess. This cape is just not my thing. It's nicely done, but it just, rides up weirdly, and when you sort of pose her, it just rumples up and doesn't really want to work all that well. A lot of people have been saying the cape has been fraying, and yeah, mine's okay. I haven't really touched this thing that much, but I can see that happening sometime soon. These holes in the back are kind of weird. One here, one here. I don't know why they do that. Just have one hole in the back. It's fine. The paint seam by her butt is kind of really bad. It's kind of stupid, in my opinion. They could paint that a little bit better. As far as articulation goes, let's go over that real quick. Her head's on a hinge, but it's really noticeable, and it kind of she has sort of lollipop head. So that's kind of a bummer. It really looks awkward and sort of awful. And I'm sorry, but this cape is really hindering my camera, in a way. But it's fine, I guess. You get a lot of tilt, which is nice, I guess. But again, that extra head would have, sold it. Tilt the, the cannon, the voice blast move she has, and the screaming thing. Psionic voice, I would believe. The arm goes up this far, around. You don't want to twist it. It does twist kind of within the joint, as it is sort of stuck in there, but it doesn't really want to work as well as you would think. The arm goes up this far. Nice range on the elbow. That's a point. That's a plus for this figure. Goes around, and then up and down. With the joint right over here, and then up and down with the joint right over here, and swivel. So that's pretty good. You get a ball joint up here. No waist cut. That needs to be fixed or something. Really, have just a crank right over here. Just have a hinge. That'd be great. Goes out this far, in, up this far, back this far. Right over here. Good knee. Swivel at the top. No boot cuff. You could have put one in here. That'd be great. Or have a little ball right here. Down, up. Pretty nice on that up. And pivot with two peg holes at the bottom of the feet and all the info on the bottom. I'm glad they're doing that now instead of on the back of the legs. It's very smart. Someone should have told them that years ago. So yeah, kind of a lackluster figure, in my opinion. She only comes with two accessories, which are these sort of just claw hand kind of things. Which, I mean, they would kind of work, but then you got to take this off and then expose that, and then put this back on and thread through the hole. It's a lot of just, minutia that just, and it's a little loose anyways. So you get that hand, and then taking this off, you get this hand, putting that in here, yawn, and yeah, I don't know, the cape's starting to already buckle under the weight and just fray. So I don't know, Siren is not my favorite in the wave. She just really is kind of just bad, and a little top heavy too because of that hair. So yeah, not that great at all. Siren stands at about 6 1/4 inches tall to the top of her hair. Here's Siren next to Shriek and Jesse Heck Creative. And here in the jungle we see the Siren who puffs up her cape in order to ward off predators. Fascinating. Here's Vulcan. I don't really know much about this guy aside from he's on a new body mold, so let's take a look at him. I'm not a fan of the color scheme, I'm afraid. Too much red, too little gold, and the blue is sort of weirdly placed. I mean, it's okay, I guess. It just reminds me a lot of sort of Superman, in a way. Down to the eyes, those weird kind of eyes, I don't get it. They're yellow and very strange. Interesting. The head sculpt is the best part about this guy, for me. The body being new, I don't really care. Pinless tech, I don't really care. The fact it's going to replace the bucket cap mold, I don't really care. It's just, too little, too late for me. So, the head is the best part of this guy. Like I said before, the eyes are really cool. The hair is all mussed up, really lovely. The ear looks really cool. I don't know why the ears are fascinating. They're really weirdly shaped, and they capture ears really well. So, yeah, that's pretty awesome. The scowl, you know, pretty good. Painted lips, which is nice too. Good ear on this side also. The back of the head, boring. Whatever. Doesn't need a wash, I don't think. You know, the light hits it pretty well. The body, it's fine. It just a little bit sort of short in the torso and I think long in the legs for me. You know, so yeah. Even the knees are a different material than the body. How do you mess that up? Even the elbows are a different material than the body. Again, it's a new body, but doesn't mean they can, you know, just give us this. It's shocker all over again, you know. So yeah, just a lot of like poor choices here. The paint is, I had to go through a lot of different Vulcans to find the good paint on this, by the way. So that's kind of a bummer for me. The paint is clean though, I have to say, at least on this. This might be, oh, this is a separate piece right here. So that's really weird. Yeah, what can I say other than that? They're catching up to G.I. Joe. They just got to get the body articulation right, but they're never going to give them that body. So, whatever, I guess. You know, parents will buy these for their kids. It's a Marvel figure. They'll love it. Who's Vulcan? What? Anyways, the gold is pretty okay. Not as good as the Bionicle kind of gold, but still, it's all right. You know, the hands kind of taper off here. It's really weird. Doesn't really fit all that well. It could cup better. Why it doesn't cup better? I don't know. That bugs the heck out of me. Have it cup and contour to your hand. You know, that's like rule number one for me, at least when it comes to hands. And also have multiple hands. You know, this guy has multiple hands, by the way, just going over that before articulation. They're okay. They're just graspy hands. I don't know why they're there. Taking them on and off is pretty easy, and, you know, putting them on the correct arm is difficult. So, yeah. Yeah, spooky, grabby hands. Ooh, scary. I don't know. Yeah, this guy looks kind of creepy in a way, and I kind of like it. You know, it works out really well for me. I might use this head for some kind of, like, possessed character or whatever. It works out well for me. The body is a non-issue. I don't think I'll ever use this body again. I could just rather sell it for someone to customize it into something. So, speaking of that body, let's go over the articulation of this body. Goes up on the hinge, down. This is a new body, and they couldn't use the ball tech, you know? The dumbbell joint? It's kind of weird. Good tilt, though. No, I'll take that back. Bad tilt. Kind of really poor tilt, actually. Good swivel. Good up and down. Poor tilt. Back and forth on these butterfly joints are really difficult. It bugs me. And is that a chip right there? That bugs me, too, on the paint. That's a bummer. Goes up this far, down, over all the way around, swivel over here, you know. Doesn't really go up that far either on this. This is a new body and they give us this. Goes forward and back. Wow. And then swivel all the way around. And then down and back with this. Swivel at the waist. Goes out this far. Pretty nice. You know, I'll give him that. Goes up this far. Not really back all that far. Swivel here. Double joint. Doesn't really cut it for me. You know. Goes around and down and up and pivot, really clicky on that joint, oddly. And then 2 peg holes at the bottom of each foot, or 1 peg hole at the bottom of each foot. So, yeah, and also when you do this, be careful of this. This is pretty gummy. So, yeah, that's just sort of awful. Yeah, I may just bump this guy down in the list. Yeah, I'm just going to call him the worst as far as it goes. He's just, I don't know. They really need to do a lot more to impress me nowadays. Vulcan stands at about 6.5 inches tall. Here's Vulcan next to Cyclops and Jesse Heck Creative. What are you made of, buddy? Vulcanized rubber? Is that what you're made of, dude? Is that why you're so bad? Is that why your articulation's weird? What is with you, dude? Hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching so far. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. You can also click the bell icon for more creativity. Now let's get back to it. So here's first appearance Sabertooth. I like this figure a lot. He was the one I most wanted in the wave. Now, not so much. He's kind of, you know, grown less on me compared to the rest of the figures. So here we go. He is basically the same kind of Sabertooth we've seen, except with a lot of different, you know, changes as far as fur goes. He's very, you know, furry. He has fur in his legs, fur in his arms, fur on his back, and going around his neck. It's pretty cool. He has these nice, like, claws right now, with cool nails that are incredibly long. Wow, that must be horrible if he breaks a nail. It is kind of gummy, which is really interesting and pretty cool. You know, you can't hurt yourself or break yourself, but it gives you a good scratch if you need one, so that works out just fine. The fur is in sort of like tougher texture, a little bit rubbery, a little bit, you know, pliable. You can feel it a little bit if you press it and push it around. but it stays well. It's painted really nice. I like the painting on this a lot. It looks really good, and it works out pretty cool. It's also painted, I think, a little bit on the inside. I can't tell. I don't know. Maybe it's, you know, just tan on the inside, I guess, to match this kind of like, you know, wash, which is pretty okay. And the wash is really nice on the legs, too. The feet have some nice deco on the nails over here. It's missing a little spot on mine right here. That's a bummer. But, you know, can't complain. I'm glad I at least have this guy in the first place. There is some paint mishap right over here, though, which kind of puts him a little lower on the list. I don't know if he, you know, got damaged in the packaging or something, but whatever. He looks pretty cool. The yellow is, you know, a little brighter yellow than the other Sabertooth figure that you'll see in a little bit. But going over this guy, as far as articulation goes up, down, all the way around, gives some nice tilt. His face is actually really weird. It reminds me of Willem Dafoe, but it's growing on me, so that's neat. He has a large mane of hair. The wash is pretty cool. They put actually a lot of effort in this figure that I'm very, you know, proud of. I like Sabertooth, and he's a very cool villain, but there are a lot of paint problems on him as far as, like, you know, the body goes. It's just a shame, and it puts him a little lower on the list than he probably would have been. So the arms go up this far around, all the way around, down, you know, swivel at the bicep right over here. You may want to just hold this in place and, you know, get it used to being moved this way. It kind of wants to go, the entire bicep wants to swivel. But just, you know, hold on to that joint and you're fine. It goes up this far as the joint goes. Pretty nice, although it is a little gummy, so be careful with that, you know, as far as that goes. Goes out, swivel here, up and down, right over here, swivel also. You also can go crunch down this far, crunch back, swivel right over here. Leg split this far, pretty okay. Goes up this far, back this far. Not too bad. Swivel right up here. There's some kind of like leaking paint. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of the brown that's coming from the body is flaking onto the rest of the body. So we'll see what happens then. Goes up all the way here. Pretty nice on that joint. Goes down. Can't really swivel up here. I wish there was a cut. That'd be great if there was a swivel cut right here. But you'd have to allocate for new parts. And you can't do that on this, can you? More paint allocated over here. Just like, you know, some brown. I'm not sure why it's like spreading. Is it on my hands or anything? No. So it must be an issue with the paint. Goes down this far, up this far, swivel, pivot, you know, that whole deal. And two peg holes at the bottom of the feet with the info on the bottom. That's good. I'm glad they're phasing that out with info on the back of the legs. So yeah, first appearance Sabertooth is a nice figure. He has a lot of stuff. I may try to kit bash him later on with the other Sabertooth. And again, there's more paint just flying around everywhere. I don't even think this was on here to begin with when I started the review, so that's really just weird. I'll have to investigate or something. Maybe this one's defective and I'll have to take it back. But yeah, that's first appearance Sabertooth. He's pretty good. First appearance Sabertooth stands at about 6.5 inches tall. Here's first appearance Sabertooth next to, what do I call him? Second appearance Sabertooth from the Apocalypse Wave. They both look good together. You know, and real quick, I just want to try out a head swap and see how they work. So here's the head swap. I actually find it to be interesting. I like the first appearance Sabertooth head on the other body. It looks more intimidating and kind of creepy. And the other sort of head is just weird in general. I don't know, it's just a mixed bag, you know. It's strange. And also here's Jesse Heck Creative. So you're asking me for a pedicure on the day of my daughter's wedding. Darwin! He's an alien guy. That's kind of the reason I like the character even at all. So going over this guy and checking him out, he's very bland, yet he's so unique to the line that I had to put him in this spot right over here. So yeah, he's purple, and I love purple, first of all. It's a really good color on him. I wish his body was more this color purple than this muted color, but I digress. Whatever. He's on the Pizza Spider-Man body, so we've seen that a lot. You know, he just looks pretty cool. His face is really not all that special. It has a lot of contours, which allow for great shading, though, as far as natural light. His ears are really weird. They're just little circles, and his eyes are just plain old, you know, just, you know, white. That's it. No, nothing. No iris. No, it's all iris. No pupil. Yeah. He has these, you know, little hands right here. It's okay. Along with these bigger hands. And the fingers are huge. They're really large fingers for a character. He evokes the gray alien sort of stereotype that you see in media and everything like that. So, just going over this guy's articulation real quick. Back, forward, swivel all the way around, up, down. Doesn't really work with the joint. I may have to heat that up or something. yeah, these aren't really that great butterfly joints as far as butterfly joints are concerned. Goes up this far, down, around, swivel at the top, up right over here. Looks fine, good. Swivel over here, in and out. This is my first time really touching the figure, by the way. Down this far, back, pretty good. You know, you have to work the joint a little bit. Swivel around over here, side to side, over here, then swivel over here, back this far, forward, nice kick forward, swivel all the way around, goes up, really nice, great articulation as far as that goes. No swivel here, and pivot, and down, and up, and 2 peg holes at the bottom of the feet. He's kind of bland, yet I like him a lot. I feel like the head and hands and fists over here have great potential for some kind of kit bash. I'd love to put this guy like in a suit, you know, or give him like a hat, or make him look like he's blending into humanity, which is pretty neat. It's the Skrulls, but it's a little more weird. I think he kind of like is a weirder character as far as Marvel goes, but he's endearing in a way that I just can't help but be drawn to him. He's nice. Darwin stands at about 6.5 inches tall. Here's Darwin next to Spider-Man. They both share the same body, but Spider-Man has just much more, I think, better deco. More better? Whatever. And also here's Jesse Heck Creative. I know you're a masseuse, but you don't have to be that close while giving me a massage. I'm fine if you just stand 20 feet away. That's good by me. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching so far. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. You can also click the bell icon for more creativity. Now let's get back to it. So here's Resurrected Wolverine. I think he's actually pretty cool. So let's go over this guy. I'm not a fan of the navy over here. I'm not a fan of, you know, this kind of gold is kind of weird in the belt. It's more bronzy than gold. His face is the same kind of face we've seen on like every other Wolverine available. It just kind of frustrates me that we're getting another Wolverine body mold out of like 8 million billion Wolverine body molds, and it just bothers me a lot. It's all the same reuse kind of stuff we've been seeing down to this head. I never got the 5-pack, but this is apparently from the 5-pack. It's the one good piece from it. I like how it looks. I like the shading. I like the color. I like the little tufts in his hair that are coming out on the back too a little bit. It's pretty nice, you know. Would fit on the head quite well, I believe. Let's check that out. I might just keep it like this. Who knows? Yeah, it's Wolverine. We've seen this guy before. I do like him. He's pretty cool. It's just we've seen Wolverine before. I like the claws a lot. They're really nice. They're really good. Not to say it's a horrible figure. I love this like lime kind of like electric color of yellow. It's really neat. The body sculpt is pretty good. It's the same stuff we've seen before. It's tried and true. It works. The head sculpt is good. I've just done this figure to death a million times before. Same articulation, works out pretty well. Butterfly joints and all. These should be, you know, blue or yellow or something. I don't know why. It's all, you know, just the black doesn't really match all that well. Then I realized everything pointy down to his hair and down here as well are, you know, black. And that kind of works for that, I guess. So yeah, that fits. And what I noticed too is this joint right here is black as well. So that's fine too. Yeah. This Wolverine, I've reviewed him to death. You know, you can check out my other reviews for Wolverine. I did like a bunch of Wolverines in the past. So yeah, that's Wolverine. He's a pretty good figure. Not the best. I like the claws and the alternate head. That's about it. Resurrected Wolverine stands at about 5 3/4 inches tall. So here's Resurrected Wolverine next to the first appearance Wolverine that I kit bashed with the X-Force Wolverine claws. And I find that the yellow on the Resurrected Wolverine looks really good. If you put it on the first appearance, it'd be amazing. Just have that yellow across the board. That sort of neon yellow. It looks amazing. It looks awesome. The navy isn't doing it for me. The claws are pretty cool, though. I might use that for something. And also, here's Jesse Heck Creative. Whoa, Wolverine, buddy, calm down there. Those may be hot knives, but I'm not butter. So here's Havoc, everything attached. I like this figure a lot. I'm glad we have this, you know, classic old school Havoc. That's why I put him sort of near the top, just because I like this head right here. It's really cool. These effects are amazing, though. They're a little bit wobbly. They can spin, though, which is pretty neat. And they have this nice kind of like design to them. They're pretty cool. They work really well, actually. I like the joints in this guy and the body sculpt and shape. This is pretty cool, kind of cartoony. I like it a lot, how it fades on the outside. It's pretty neat. You have a inner ring that's a little like, you know, sort of like wider than the sort of outer ring. And then you have this, which is all shiny. That's pretty cool. The effect pieces are really neat. I wish this could peg into like the foot or something. You know, it could make some kind of like blast with his feet. You know, I guess it's probably just for his hands and stuff. But yeah, it's mostly a black figure, not too much paint. But for what paint they do, they work out really well. The eyes are good, if not a little bit boring. You know, there's a little bit of like blonde, you know, paint for the eyebrows. It's neat. The blue eyes work out really well. And also the lips are painted cool too. That's pretty cool. This thing up here is painted pretty well. It's a little bit off on mine, but it's, you know, hard to notice when it's a little far away. You can plug this in the back right over here, and that works out really well. Looks very nice. Havok is a good character. I've always liked him, you know, in my X-Men teams and stuff, and, you know, I put him in the villain team sometimes too. So yeah, it's good to have a Havok that, you know, works out really well for this line. You just take off his hands and then put on the effect on there, you know. It's easy. Pretty simple. Yeah, overall I'd recommend Havok. He's really good. Like him a lot. As far as articulation goes, taking this off so it doesn't wreck anything. Back, forward, swivel, up, down, all the way around. Butterfly joint works out really well on both ends. That's neat. Swivel at the top. Double joint elbows, pretty okay. Up and down on this. That's fine. Splits. Down. Forward. Back. Very nice up on this. Very good. Good job. Swivel up here. Swivel down there. Pivot. Very clicky too. Down, up. And then 2 pegos above the feet as well as crunch down. Crunch back. You can't really see it. And swivel at the waist. And you can also do ball joint around here, you know, all the way around. Tilt. Very nice tilt on this guy. Yeah. It kind of exceeds expectations a little bit. I thought it was going to be just okay, but I really like him a lot, you know? I'm glad to have Havok in the collection. You should too. He's really hard to find, you know? So, yeah, pick him up. Havok stands at about 6 1/4 inches tall. Here's Havok next to the more modern Havok, and I just got to try this out real quick. See if these all fit out and work with this figure. Because it'd be cool if they did. I could pick up another set, maybe, and just use these effects on him instead of whatever he came with, I guess. I really don't think he came with anything. That's interesting. So, now to test this out, you know, I gotta mention that taking his hands off kind of weakens the wrist joint, which is kind of weird. But you could kind of port them on here, and then just put the hand in, like so, and it should work, I would think. Just gotta be pretty ginger and careful with it. You know, it doesn't really want to, you know, fit back in kind of. You kind of fudge it and maybe get it in. Yeah, I think it does work. Yeah, that's pretty nice. It does clamp against his wrist. It clamps against the wrist really tightly, the effect, which actually I think makes it a little bit better to use. But yeah, using it for Havok is pretty nice. It even fits in the back a little bit loosely, but you can make it work, you know? It does work with this guy. So yeah, picking up another is a no-brainer. It is a little bit loose though in the back and very tight in the front, where it's the opposite with this figure. So pick your poison, you know, what kind of accessories you want to put on this guy or not. The other hand also, you know, taking that hand off is kind of a nightmare, but putting it back in is pretty simple. Just putting it right here, fitting it all in, making it work is just a piece of cake. Pretty easy here. Just stick that in there, and it should be good. It should work, yeah. I think it's fine. It doesn't really have too much issue with that. So you have the 2 blast effects right there, and then you have this effect in the back right there. You can't really have it up and bubbly like it is on the figure I have, but here is Havok with those blast effects, and he looks really nice. Pretty cool. I may just pick up a second. Yeah, that kind of works for me. And also here's Jesse Heck Creative. No, please, sir, allow me. I'll block this puddle for you. Just walk over me. That's fine. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching so far. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. You can also click the bell icon for more creativity. Now let's get back to it. So here's Maggot, my favorite figure of the wave, not just because he has all new sculpt, but because he just looks really cool. He reminds me of somebody out of like Treasure Planet or something, like a space captain or Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that. He's really cool. I like all the new tooling they put on him. I think he's 100% new. It's really nice. So let's go over this guy and see how he is. Even though I'm not a big fan of him, just because he used all this new tooling that the other figures could have used. So shame on you for being an all-new figure. Whatever. So Maggot's face, let's go over this. He looks super duper high. He looks really weird. Look at his eyes. They're just all red, glassy, kind of strange. Yeah, this guy is kind of freaky. So, yeah, he's really weird. So, yeah, he does this big smile and these really, like, red eyes and this little tuft of white hair. His head is just plain old bald. That's pretty cool. We also have this shirt right here. Looks really good. His belt is really nice over here. Looks really good. Yeah, he has this huge biceps right over here, this sort of scaly, sort of like leathery material, part of his jacket, I would think. It could be painted a little bit better right over here. That's a shame. His face looks really nice, but this, you know, needs a little bit to be desired. The paint over here is fine by me. That's pretty good. The jacket doesn't really hinder all that much. It works out pretty nice. The belt is pretty cool, very swashbuckly. The knee pads are really nice. They're really cool. The boots are cool. They're really good. You know, a couple intentional cracks and dings here and there. It works out nice. They have like cool buckles. Or they were painted or something. You know, they could be painted. That's a shame. His hands are, you know, molded with fingerless gloves. That works out really well. He has a lot of striations and a lot of, like, you know, junk over here. This is all new sculpt, by the way. It's all pinless too, which is really nice. There are pins right here, and I'm wondering where they come from. So I don't know where these pin legs come from. These pinless joints come from over here. So I don't get it. I'm trying to figure out where these come from. It's blanking on me. Maybe they're the same legs but different, you know, knees, I guess. But I digress. So let's go over this guy and just get his articulation down. So his head down to the chest works out pretty well. Kind of like obscured by this big shoulder pad. Goes back up all the way. Pretty nice. Could go a little farther maybe if you fudge it around and swivel over here. You know, a little bit of pivot for this guy. That's fine. It goes up, down, hindered a lot by this, not really all the way around, which is kind of a shame. You can take the jacket off, but it kind of would ruin the figure, I would think, and not look as good. But we're going to do that anyways and see how he is. Yeah, on the inside, it's going to just, you probably get a lot of up on that, but, you know, not too much going around. You can go all the way around probably, but it would be suffered because of this thing. You know, I don't want to break it or anything, so it's kind of a shame. Swivel right here, all the way around, and you get his legs going out. Kind of okay, you know, pretty far-ish. This one's hindered for some reason. Doesn't want to go out as far as the other one. I don't know why. Maybe it's a misprint or missculpt or mispaint or something. I don't know. That's kind of weird to me. It goes up this far, down this far, back, you know. Doesn't want to go too far back. Swivel up here. And you get that knee right there. That works out pretty well. Okay, I guess. The joints are kind of loose on mine, which is kind of weird, at least on the... yeah, it's very, very loose, you know. They kind of wobble around, which is kind of a shame. That kind of sucks. He does stand pretty okay, I guess, but trying to move his joints over here, just, you know, it doesn't really want to work as well. That's a shame. You get knee going down. That's fine, I guess. It's hindered a lot by the jacket and hindered a lot by the sculpt. And then you swivel here, down, up, and then pivot, and then two peg holes at the bottom of the feet. This guy looks to be my favorite, but going over him, I'm not sure. Yeah, he's kind of just okay, and when I move him, it just kind of like wrecks the sculpt and articulation. You know, also his elbow goes up this far, pretty okay. All right, swivel, pivot, crunch at the here and back pretty far, works out pretty nice, and swivel, and the belt's floating. So yeah, overall, kind of a weird dud. It's a very weird wave. I'm not a big fan of, I don't think, any of the characters in general. They're all just, you know, mediocre to okay for me. So yeah, that's Maggot right there. As far as his accessories go, we finally get some accessories for a figure, I would believe. He comes with these little maggots. They're really cool. I like them a lot. I could use them in like some sci-fi dioramas. They're really, you know, rubbery and kind of funny. So yeah, you could put one on his shoulder to like accompany him and have him maybe hold one in his hand just to, like, you know, hang out with and pal around with. Maybe eat. I don't know what he does with them. I really don't know. But this is how I think I might pose him if I want to keep him. I'm not really sure who I want to keep in this wave. It's all a really mixed bag. But I think having him with this little brood right here works out really well. So yeah, Maggot looks good, but he poses sort of awkwardly, has some, you know, really not tight joints at all. And just, I don't know. He kind of weirds me out. Yeah, he's weird. Here's Maggot next to Cable, and I always imagined Maggot to be a little taller than Cable, I thought, but I guess I'm wrong. So yeah, here they are together. And also here's Jesse Heck Creative. Maggot stands at about 6 3/4 inches tall. Ugh, that smells awful. No thanks, man. I just ate. Here he is, Bonebreaker, the Build-A-Figure that made me want to get this because I was into G.I. Joe. So yeah, let's see how this guy is. He looks insane. Wow, this guy is actually pretty awesome. I like him kind of a lot. So let's just go over this dude, shall we? So yeah, as far as being a big block of plastic, he is definitely a big block of plastic. There are a lot of things that, you know, make him look like really good, and a lot of things that make him look really bad. So starting with the, you know, bad, then going to the good. These don't move at all. I kind of hate it. I wish they did. It's a big stupid block of, you know, plastic, and I kind of don't like it at all. I wish these moved. These are separate for some reason, these sort of rubber treads. I don't know why. I wish they, you know, moved or something, you know. They do go all the way around over here, which is nice, you know, on the interior. So that works kind of fine, I guess, you know. Getting a better look at that. I don't know if you can really see it, but there are treads inside, so that's pretty cool. You know, there are some scars and pits over here, and that's kind of fine as well. These are silver, and I wish they're kind of more of a gunmetal. You know, it doesn't really match with all the other silvers, I think, on this thing. You know, there isn't enough. Whatever this is pretty cool, I guess. This little turret is kind of stupid. I wish there was something, you know, could port into that. Would it kill them to give it to us? Like, probably it would, you know, basing on the lack of stuff in this character. This little engine block is actually pretty nice. The red in it's pretty cool. The little fan belt, you know, exhaust, I guess. I'm not sure. I think it's backwards. I'm not really, you know, positive on that. You know, I did watch a video to assemble it, but yeah. So yeah, as far as he goes, this does come off like pretty easily. You know, he's kind of like cannonball in a way. We just gotta make that work. So, as far as the top body goes with this guy, you know, moving the arms over, you can crunch him down, crunch him back. It looks pretty good. And then you move that around. That's fine. Moves up and down on the head. Rock out, baby, and swivel. His face expression is amazing. I love this so much. I mean, just look at this thing. He's like, wow! Yeah! His teeth are all chipped and weird. His eyes are really nuts. He looks good, the sunglasses too. The eyebrows are painted pretty well. And the mohawk he's got is out of this world. The face is the best thing about this guy. He's like super cool. You could also peg it into the side of his head right over here. So just put that in there. And on the other side, put that in there. So he doesn't have holes in his face. He's trying to eat his glasses. Why? Are you trying to eat your glasses? Yeah, you gotta move this down a little bit. This harness is kind of hard to work with. You gotta keep it inside the circle right over here. So there's that. He has some good articulation, down and up, swivel around, swivel over here. Pretty good elbow joint range right over there. Swivel over here. And then I think up and down with this one, and then maybe not up and down with both hands. And he also comes with storage, which is actually what Build-A-Figure should do with their extra pieces. And he comes with 2 fists you can give him. So you just take that off and then put that on. Don't know why he'd be punching. And the it's an up and down joint. A little tough. I haven't really moved it all that much. The bracers are pretty cool. They come from, I believe, the Captain Marvel male version. And this one goes over here. Put that in. These bracers are kind of hard to work with. So yeah, there's that for that guy. It's pretty cool. The hands, you know, they're pretty good. The trigger fingers, very nice. This gun, a little bit rubbery. It works. It's pretty cool. It's kind of huge. I think it's a new sculpt, so that's good. I'm glad we're getting new sculpts in this line. Works out pretty well. You can put the gun in either hand. So yeah, put the trigger in and you're fine. Yeah, he's kind of weird with these fists, because who would he punch? How does he punch, you know? You can't really reach that far outside of the range of his, you know, gun turret thing. You know, yeah. These barrels can come off. That's pretty cool. You can, you know, be Donkey Kong and just chuck him at somebody, you know? So yeah. This guy's actually pretty cool. I like him. You know, he isn't my favorite Build-A-Figure of all time, but he's a really unique one. So there's that. This has been a really strange wave. A lot of figures I've liked, a lot of figures I don't like, a lot of figures that, you know, I don't know, mostly figures I don't like actually in this wave. It's kind of a shame. So yeah, as far as this wave goes, it's just okay by me. Not the best, you know, not the worst. Actually, I think it might be really bad. I don't know. Just a lot of weird figures that don't really, mesh well, I think, in this, line. It's kind of a shame. So, yeah, Bonebreaker is a pretty good Build-A-Figure. Not the best, though. But he at least works, and you can use him with your Reavers. Bonebreaker stands at about 6 1/4 inches tall to the top of his mohawk. In the front, he's around 3 1/4 inches. And from the side, he's around maybe 6 inches to the back of those cans over there, and 5 1/4 inches for this green portion. Here's Bonebreaker next to his fellow Reaver, Lady Deathstrike. They both look good together, the silvers kind of match a little bit. I don't see the colors really, matching in a uniformity, but that's just me. And also here's Jesse Heck Creative. Thank you for the ride, my dude. Thank you for the ride. Overall, a pretty poor wave here. We have a lot of repaints, a lot of things that are just redone, very little new pieces, new parts, a lot of new characters, yet they all feel like rehashes of previously done figures. Starting from the bottom, Siren is just, plain okay. She is on a new body mold, but it doesn't really excuse the fact that those wings are just horrible. She needs an alternate face. And why does she come with those claw hands? It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, it's just weird. Vulcan is a new body mold entirely, yet he just doesn't look that great. His arms are like weirdly different from his joints, and it just doesn't really work that well for me. His articulation is sort of substandard too, and it could be way better. This is a brand new body mold. They could put a lot of better tooling into it, yet they sort of tripped to the finish line. That's a shame for me. Darwin's good. He has this good head and hands. I could use him for a bunch of stuff. He looks pretty cool with that. Yet the body's Pizza Spider-Man, He is purple though, which is nice. He does look kind of gaunt like an alien. I might keep him, I think, That's a pretty good character I could use for some kit bashing and stuff. As far as the next character, Sabertooth, goes, who doesn't have any accessories, he's actually pretty good. Aside from that Willem Dafoe face, he is a good figure, and I like him. I think I might kit bash him with the other one to look better and bigger and meaner. His head actually looks really good on that body, so I might do some kit bashing in a little bit and see how that works. Maybe put out a new video or something later on. So yeah, that could work for him. He's a pretty solid figure, Wolverine's good too. As far as those claws go, they're really nice. I love that lime green, yet the navy and black kind of put me off. They're sort of poorly placed. That extra head is really nice though. It's super cool and looks really good. Havok is a reused body mold, yet he's really awesome. I like him a lot. I like that head. I like the symbol on his chest. I love these new effects. They're really cool. They work for walking in the rain, as my little joke showed, which is actually pretty good. That works out really well. Nice effects that can go on the other Havok too. You can reuse them. They're really cool. It's a shame that Maggot turned out as sort of badly as he did, even though he's a brand new body mold. I wish they would use these new body molds to get better effect than just, having the bare minimum of articulation. Get some butterfly joints in there. Get some, improved articulation. Have some different torso joints and stuff. You can do way better, Hasbro. Way better than what this is with Maggot and his loose legs. That's a shame that that worked. His maggots are pretty cool. Those little centipede things, they're really neat. And now we come to the Build-A-Figure, Bonebreaker. He's good, yet he isn't, great. He is very small. The treads don't really move. The design behind it looks really nice, and I'd love to, kit bash it and change it into some kind of actual tank for a character to drive. Yet, it's just so bizarre and weird that I can't wrap my head around it. So, I'm kind of mixing this whole wave. Should I keep it? Should I sell it? I don't know what I'm going to do. But, if you're a fan of the X-Men, you'll love this thing as we continue our way into reviewing the Marvel Legends with Jesse Heck Creative. Thank you so much for watching Jesse Heck Creative. Feel free to click like, subscribe, share, or leave a comment. You can also visit us at jesseheckcreative.com, where you'll find more reviews like this one. Thanks again for watching and keep being creative. Stay tuned!